Okay, let's go. So, welcome everyone. This is a commentary over my offline Oswald world record. This is pre-recorded, as you can see if I cover over this video. Just full disclosure. Let's get into it. So start, there isn't too much to say. You gotta just get through the story stuff. You gotta mug this guy. The fight's really straightforward. You literally don't have options here. You can't do spells until you get through a little bit of your story, so you just bonk him with your staff 3 times. And then you do the other story stuff. It's pretty fetch questy at the beginning. Sadly, you can't combine them into you can't multitask, I guess is a better way to put it. So you can't start one quest and then do another one. But you need to find escape route, cold weather gear, and an accomplice. We just do these in this order. You can do them in any order. Doesn't matter. What would have been nice is if you can, say for example, do the second one where you talk to Bale. Also, I made a mistake here. Oh, never mind. Ignore that. I thought I picked the wrong option, but my inputs were too fast. I couldn't even see them. What would have been nice is if we could have talked to this guy and then done other stuff, so you could have skipped this backtrack, but no such luck. Anyway, Oswald's chapter 1 is actually kind of notoriously bad. It's one of the worst chapter 1s in terms of single story runs. Because, well, there's 2 bad aspects to it. There's the JP grind. He needs to learn advanced magic before his boss fight. And that takes 30 JP, so we're gonna have to grind fights. Ideally, you get done in 3 fights, but realistically, a lot of the time you'll need 4. I still was willing to take 4 fight grinds, and in this run, I think we actually did have a 4 fight grind. The other aspect is the Warden David's fight. The Warden David's fight is fairly dangerous, and until recently, it had a very big RNG point at the end of it, where if you didn't outspeed Warden David's, he would resummon his guards and it would add 30 seconds to the fight. I came up with a new strat to get rid of that issue, so luckily that's not a problem anymore. But, and that makes chapter 1 a lot more bearable, luckily. We get a lot more runs going than we did before. This would be a pretty big reset heavy chapter 1. But kind of done with the fetch questing. We're about to head into the underground section of the prison. So I'll explain a little bit about the battles we take there. So that first fight you did at the very start gives Oswald 2 JP, so we need 28 more to get advanced magic. And the first fight in the underground part of the prison is always scripted. It's with these 2 frost moles, and that gives you 6, so you're gonna have 8. So then ideally you take 2 fights to get 22 more JP. In terms of the good fights, there's the Frost Mole 2, which is a bit slow to kill, and it gives you 9. There's a Wisp plus Frost Mole, and that one gives you 16. And there's 2 Wisps, and that one gives you 14. The best ones are the 2 Wisps ones, but you can do a 2 Wisp and then a Frost Mole 2, and you're good. The bad ones are the 2 Frost Mole ones. This one only gives you 6. Also, first battle of the fight, of the whole run, we got ambushed. But that happens, sadly. And anything with bats. You can get a single bat or double bat. Single bat gives you 3 JP, double bat gives you 6, but both of those are terrible fights. Y'all want to see either. If I recall correctly, we actually did get 1 single bat in this run, and I flee from it, trying to save as much time as possible and keep the run alive. Which is a debatable decision, honestly. This is the one that gives you the most JP. I got ambushed again. The Shepherd one wasn't very good, apparently. This one gives the most JP, but it takes a little while to kill because that Frostmole has 2 shields. It actually does quite a bit of damage as well. So we have to do 2 fireball spells, break it, and then finish Ephemeral. It takes quite a while. But JP is good now, because that's one of the best battles. We have, I think, 22 now? If I recall correctly. No, 24. So, 2 Frostmole ones or better will give me enough JP. Also, we've been picking up some items. Cinder Staff gives you a little bit more E attack, and Ancient Necklace gives you 30 HP and 10 SP. Both useful for the upcoming fight. So there, I got the bat. Really bad. I decided to just break it and run and hope to get a better battle, because almost anything fills my JP at this point. This might be considered a mistake, I don't know. I was content to reset if I got another bat, but at the same time, the JP still could be nice because we have another JP grind after chapter 1 that's relevant. And even though it only gives 3 JP, 3 JP I think is relevant. There we go. We got the absolute minimum JP we can work with. We got 30. So now we go into Warden David's fight. So the way this fight goes is there's basically a few goals I need to set up before I go for the kill. I need to get 3 advanced magics up on Osvald. I need to get 2 plums onto him because otherwise you won't have enough SP. I'll have 2 healing turns, and in between we're also going to break Warden David's once and use the next 2 blizzards. And now just push the damage just the right amount so that I can kill him later on and get my laning trigger. But it also won't trigger him unconsciousing Emerald early, because if I do Blizzard X4 there instead of Blizzard X2, he will unconscious Emerald after the unbreak, and then the fight's terrible. So this is a new strat, and it mostly works because of that. It's kind of beating up Emerald here, so I'm guessing I grape early. No, actually no, I will plum here, I think. Never mind, I should have plumbed there. Emerald would have been fine regardless because we break here, and he can take 2 hits for 84 HP. That's one of the harder aspects of this fight. You gotta kind of learn when you need to heal and when you don't, so you can get your heals as efficiently as possible. Actually, it looks like I had already plumbed, which is why I did that. I didn't even need another heal, so I just didn't bother. I missed it. So this is the cool part of the fight. The way we set up the kill here is really nice. You need to end this turn right here with 5 BP. And the way you do that is you have Emerald Break, then you do a 4x Blizzard, and then you don't boost until this part right here. And that lets you have 5 BP for the break on what's his face? David's. The old strat, what it would do is would do Firestorm twice, and then would go for a staff. And the issue of that is you wouldn't be able to defend, so you wouldn't be able to guarantee that Oswald was before David's, and then if he got a turn, he summons guards again, and that creates a bunch of problems. So the new strat uses like some really smart BP management to make sure you can break him again after a defend, and that makes the fight work consistently. Alright, so even though you walk that whole screen there, you can sometimes get a battle. Usually if I have a pace like this, and I get that battle, I try to YOLO flee it, and if that doesn't work, I just reset. But luckily we didn't get it there. So the first battles on both these screens are scripted. It's a fight with this wolf. For some reason, this guy's really hard to run. So you can choose to break him and run, or you can just use the YOLO flee, or you can do what I did here and actually kill it. I think this is actually a fairly questionable decision, because it's pretty slow. But the really nice thing about it is that it gives you 10 JP, and that makes your JP grind a lot more consistent. Like, you can do it in one battle much more consistently. So it worked out nicely in this situation. I don't know if it's objectively the correct play. I also went for advanced magic here. It's a bit slower than Icewind strat, but the nice thing about this is the ability more lane on Oswald. So I can go for a faster kill on the mug, and I get to define that. But if you do Oswald Icewind turn 1... Oh, how did it go? No, Oswald defend turn 1, Emerald attack turn 1, and then turn 2 Icewind, Emerald attack the other one, turn 3 boosted Fireball. That's like 2 seconds faster. Assuming you had good turn order and like both guards didn't get to attack turn 2, and Emerald was second turn 3. It's about 2 seconds faster. So anyway, this wraps up chapter 2. Oswald is unique in that he is the only character that has to do his first 2 chapters right away. Every other character just has to do chapter 1, but technically this was his chapter 2 right here. That lasted about 2 minutes. So now we have access to a world and whatnot. He is the last person in the game to get access to a world. And also if you recruit him as a separate character, you skip all this. So you skip like 8.5 minutes. So that's what we build up our lane for. Normally that's a 2-turn fight, but if we lane it, unless we get really unlucky with the damage roll, it's a 1-turn. And I can see 1 more JP. It can actually be relevant. Also, one of the route changes I made is there's a 2,000 leaf chest in a house further down in Cape Cold. I cut that out. It means I can buy less M-stones, but I think it's worth it. It's a really expensive chest. It costs like 7-8 seconds. A little piece of tech there is to switch to night before I get here. That gets me like essentially a faster free black market attempt. So here we're looking for clerics so we can buy soulstones. We got a third try in this run, which is really good. It's a 15% chance to show up. And we're buying our soulstones for the rest of the run. I walk while it's night because steps advance faster while it's night. And there is a chance of getting a double encounter if I'm running through here during nighttime. Now, once it switches back to day, we just run through the whole screen, and it's pretty safe to be a one encounter screen. We're going to walk the upcoming screen here. Very high chance to skip the battle if we walk it. And then the next battle is guaranteed, so we're just going to run it. The way you handle these battles is up to the runner. If it's something I can break quickly, aka the meat, that's the only thing I can break quickly, I might opt into breaking. Or if I get 2 birds, I might ice win that just because it's so punishing if you fail it. But most other battles, I like to just heal quickly. Sadly, sometimes it doesn't work out, as you can see. But it's still better than like trying to use 2 fireballs or something to break. You get guaranteed fleas if you break enemies, so if every enemy is broken, to be more specific. So here we're gonna get Frone, our second character. Really nice thing about getting Frone that isn't obvious is that the battle that you have to do to recruit her actually gives you a lot of JP. It's 39. And we also use a light stone here. It kills faster, and it gives you an extra 3 JP from the bonus from doing it in 1 turn. 2 really nice aspects of doing it that way. I could also do it with a nice S if I got a drop, but I didn't get a drop. It would be Ice S into Staff, or I could do Ice Wind into Ice Wind X3, and that also kills. But both of those fights are 2 turns. Anyway, here we buy an Undaring Gearing. We need that to get a step ahead on Inventor. We buy Forget Me Do. We need that for Harvey. And we move on to getting Casty. Notice my money here, I have 1130. When I was doing Black Market, I could have bought 1 more M Stone, but I chose not to because you run out of money here if you do. You wouldn't be able to afford the boat. So Cassie's our 3rd character. We get her because she's convenient, honestly. She's like right along the path, but also because of Forget Me Do. So there's this mechanic in this game where a lot of bosses will have dialogue that they need to play, and if they don't play it, you can't kill them. It's like a hidden buff. And what Forget Me Do does is it removes a buff from an enemy. And essentially it removes that invisible buff that makes them invincible until they play the dialogue. So we can skip the dialogue and kill faster with Forget Me Do on bosses that are like that. Right. One of the things that could have gone badly here is I could have gotten ambushed. So during the day, the minimum the worst battle in terms of JP count will give you 9 JP. And I needed 10 JP to get a base of maneuvers. So if I got ambushed and I got the worst battle, that one is one of the 9 JP ones. I would have been short 1 JP. In which case I'd have had to kill 1 more battle here. So luckily no ambush. If I needed more JP than this, what I would have done is I would have taken a nighttime battle. The minimum JP from a battle at nighttime is 16 JP, and then it's like it's guaranteed. But there is 1 battle during nighttime, the Ocean Lizard Men 2. I wouldn't give Frone enough EXP to get level 8 off of the next 2 fights. And that matters a lot because she's got some steals coming up, and 2 of those steals are 55% on level 8 and 15% at level 7. So if possible, I do like to take the daytime battle. Something worth noting there is that I use the small soulstone to kill that battle. That's not something I generally do. I generally go nighttime and M-stone, and that actually throws me off later in the run. I kind of forgot that I had an extra M-stone I can use. The way the stone routing works, in terms of my items at least, is that I buy 4. 2 of those are reserved for a Crack Ridge battle, and then the other 3 can be shared between the Frone battle, the Candlebrine battle, the one that I did with Small Stone, and the Temenos Recruitment battle. Or if you get a Kate somewhere, you can also use 1 for that as well. I kind of forgot that I didn't use 1 there. So later on I make a mistake and don't use it on the Temenos battle. And I catch it later, and then it just means I end up with an extra M-stone that could have saved a bit more time. It's not a serious error. Anyway, start Oswald Chapter 3, and we're going to go north to this screen here. The reason for this is there is an item called a Rainbow Bottle here, and we needed to unlock an Inventor invention. So the power of Inventor, it's a very overpowered class, pretty much. Also, we steal the Palm M and Wendell here. Got Bird Try Wendell, if I recall correctly. Oh, not even. 4th try. As long as we get it, it's fine. Then get the Rainbow Bomb Bottle, and we head on over to get Inventor. So the way Inventor works is you get the class by default, and then you get to unlock it in certain inventions by turning in certain items. And you need 2 to unlock your first support skill, which is a step ahead. A step ahead is probably the most broken support skill in the game. Maybe after you get some maneuvers in terms of speedrunning, I don't know. What I'm about to do is essentially any character with a step ahead equipped gets a free turn at the start of the turn. Like, enemies won't get to move on that turn. Even having a step ahead equipped is really powerful, because they can just like do nothing, and then next turn you start off with all your characters having 1 more BP. It's very strong. It also counts, like, doesn't count as a turn towards the JP bonus, so you can have a 2-turn kill and get the JP bonus if you have a step ahead on. Assuming you're not ambushed. We also unlock Elemental Bomb Bottle here, which, actually now that I think about it, isn't used in this run, but is a very powerful skill. And Crit Scope. Crit Scope is really important, because it guarantees crits on every kind of hit. And it's really good for maximizing damage from hired help in single stories. Hi, Space Coyote. I've been kind of reading the chat, but there just hasn't been anything for me to comment on, so... Wait, this part right here we kind of run through. We're gonna get random battles. We hope to just get fleas from them quickly. Something you can do here is go east to the next screen and pick up the chest there. It's a 6200 chest, and then you can try to walk the screen to skip the battle here, but I think it's not worth it. It's a really slow battle. Or a really slow chest. It's a really slow screen transition. Right. Here I got Osvald first on a free bird fight, so I decided to play it safe and just break it. Yeah, Coyote will be famous now. I'm sure this video will get a ton of views. This screen can sadly give you a battle even if you walk it, but the odds are really low, so I think it's worth walking. Very, very small chance that you get the battle if you walk it. I do remember that I got it recently. I don't remember if it was this run where I got this battle. It was this run. So pretty unlucky there, but it is what it is. We get second turn fleet. And then, yeah, like I didn't even move at the end of that. As you can see, it was like 1 step. And here, slight mistake. What I should have done is stuck a state of daytime and just thrown the light M. But I went for nighttime and kill. I also hesitated a bit here because I didn't know if I had latent or not on Oswald. If you have latent, it speeds up the fight. Since I used latent on the mug and Cape Cold, I kind of assumed I didn't. But I think I built it up over like these ambushes, or like that failed escape and stuff. Usually don't have it. Also, watch the money here. We go down to 500. Money route is very precise. That's another reason I couldn't buy more stones. I couldn't even buy an extra ass, because I would not be able to afford that boat there. Anyway, I mentioned earlier that chest in Clockbank where we could have gotten east. Also, we got a puff here. This puff is actually pretty valuable. So there's nothing wrong with light ending this, but I did make a miscalculation here because I forgot I had that extra light M. Because of that, I decided to break one of these crack cringe battles and then light M when I could have just thrown 2 light M's. I'll point that out when we get there. Anyway, sadly the puff doesn't give us enough money to really do anything special with. And we're gonna have to pick up a bit of extra money, because we're gonna have to kill a battle in Gravel that requires 7,000 leaves. And overall, money route-wise, I don't need the money I'm about to pick up here. We're gonna pick up a 6,400 chest, but I need it at that point in the run just so I can afford that fight. If I had enough money for this fight, I could have skipped this chest, and overall for the end of the run, I would have had enough money. But I don't like getting that chest. There is a chance of getting a double battle after you get it. It's very low, but it's possible. But it's the fastest money I can get, so we get that chest. So here's my mistake. I chose to break that armor eater. I could have just thrown 2 because I had 1 more than I thought I did. And I think I realized it when we do the fight after this, that I have 1 more. Because I could have also skipped this Thunder M if I had realized I had the extra stone. But here's where the Octopath is very nice. Octopath lets Brone get boost start right now. That essentially lets me skip a menu later on. So what you would normally do here is you would give Cassie a step ahead as well, and you would kill the upcoming fight here with a Thunder M plus 3 X guards. But because I got boost stored, I can just do 4 X guards. Now let's save the M stone, so I could have skipped that M stone for a different reason. I didn't realize in time. This is actually the only death of the run here. I kind of forgot about this. At least it was fairly quick. Galestorm just one-shot me. But yeah, my M stone management was kind of bad in this run. And see, this run is still very beatable. As you can see, there's quite a few mistakes, and I even had a death. But it is the first sub 33, so I'm pretty happy with it. From this point on, though, the run's pretty smooth. So here, we don't have to throw an M, we can just do 4 X-Bones. Well, maybe we should take the raid. Raid, welcome everyone. Don't mind me, just commentating over a VOD. Thank you. Nice to see you as well. Welcome, Crusaders. Something you can kind of risk here, as I enter Gravel and then I go to pick up this chest. Instead, you can go to go get the chest and go to Gravel. It is faster, but then you risk a second battle and you have to do some walking, so it's not really worth the time save. Or it's a high risk time save, I'd say. Be a bit more accurate. Okay, so coming up is our first like kind of real-ish boss fight. Well, not really. It's just gonna be Guards X4. It's gonna be Lady Clarissa. If I didn't have boost start on Frone, I would have to have Cassie do critical scope here. But because I have boost start, it's so much simpler. I can just defend into Guards X4, and it's a very fast fight. I think technically Guards X4 can fail to kill if you miss all 4 crits, but you very rarely miss even 1 crit, so don't really have to worry about that. I think even then, it'd be like a damage range that you're likely to hit. So on the way here, we picked up a Fire M chest. That Fire M is relevant because it's an M stone, but also because of the element. And the next 2 fights that like are not small fights that we run into, they can both be killed by only a Fire M with 1 M stone. Like the other M stones don't hit weaknesses, so they don't do enough damage. So I have a choice on where to use it. Also, I made another decision here. I normally like the saving put here, but because I feel like my pace is kind of bad after the Gravel death, and because like I killed the Puff, I chose to just YOLO fleet in this fight. And luckily it worked out. I didn't get ambushed, and it saves like a few seconds. But I think generally the better option is just to save and quit. It's really fast, and you avoid the battle completely, so no chance for it to go badly. So, like, once again, I had that death earlier, so I decided to play aggressively here, and I chose to just run from this. This fleet isn't really favored towards you, but I got it. Normally you clear that with a Fire M, but because I saved the Fire M, I can now clear the next battle. With what's it called? I can clear the next battle with the Fire M instead of breaking with Mercs, which is a nice bonus. Makes it a little bit safer in case I get ambushed, and on top of that, it's faster. Merc's animation slow and adds a turn, so it's another nice little time save. So essentially, I took some risks here, and I do think they paid off. Well, I know they paid off because I already know what happened. But I'll spoil it a little bit for you guys. Even though I took a death in Gravel, I end up losing very little time here. In fact, I think I more or less break even. Also means there's still a lot of potential time save on this split. We did also have like the extra battle outside Flame Church, death, some bad stone management, so a lot can still be better here. Also, for anyone wondering why I only have a step ahead on Frone, it's just because like, there's a lot of fights where only Frone has to do something. I don't want to have to defend through every other character's turn to get to Frone. So if I can keep only step ahead on her for a segment, or only on her and Cassidy, I will. It's just a nice time-saving fights. So here we got Stenvar. This fight is very straightforward. We just defend and do Beast of the X4. If I didn't have boost start from that pop, I would have to take a menu before this fight to equip boost start onto Frone. It's not a big deal. I'd also remove Cassie's a step ahead there. But since we got that pop, we got to do that all in one menu, so I didn't have to do any menuing here. Now here, if I recall correctly, we go into the inn and we stay. The reason for this is Cassie has no lane, and it's not really realistic to build lane for her at this point. I'd have to like get a Lychee S and get a Lychee L and probably break something, and it's just not consistent. It's much safer to do the inn. And on top of that, if I do that in there, I could also steal the Palm S from the guy in the inn. And the really nice thing about that is I can skip an L stone on the upcoming Grieving Golem fight. So I can skip the Fire L pickup completely. I do think the Fire L fight, or the L stone fight, might be a tiny bit faster. But I think overall, this is like the better option. So here we just gotta go and scrutinize some people. You might have noticed I stole a dazzling artwork from the guy by the library entrance. That's really big because it sells for 15,000. One of the big changes I made to the route is I cut out a lot of money, and that dazzling artwork on its own makes up a lot of that money. The big money cut, I'd say, was before, at the start, you would get the 2k chest in Cape Cold, and you would do a mug in New Delsta. And that mug was kind of far away. It would get you 11k, but you also had to burn an M-Stone for it, so it would cut into your early M-Stone money, or early M-Stone count. And it was slow. The nice thing about it that I didn't consider until later is that it gives you JP, but... yeah. I ran a bit too far here. I have this issue with my controller where the start button doesn't want to work, so side effect of that. Switch Knight here because Temmie and Frone give you a nighttime bonus where they debuff the enemies with various things and buff you. I only care about the debuffs because it gives them armor corrosive, which makes my physical hits do more damage. We do this for every fight that we kill with hired help. That's why Temmie's in the run, honestly. It's very, very useful. And here we give Oswald Boost Star. He's going to need this for this fight, but also for his mugs coming up. And we put a step ahead back on everyone, because we do need everybody to have it for boss fights from this point on, and for clearing Chapter 5 fights. Should mention that we never got Particio. Particio is the merchant in this game, and you get him in a lot of speedruns. He's very good. But reason for that is he's kind of out of the way. Like, Ores Rush is a bit of a detour. And the Merchant Shrine is along the way for us, because we go to the battle for Oswald Chapter 5. So what we do is we make Frone our merchant, and she's actually a very good merchant because of her lane lift, which lets her take 2 actions per turn. So she puts in work. So thanks to that Paul Mask, we have a very nice one solo fight here. I'm actually very high in M-Stone count here. I think I don't remember if I steal. I think I skipped the steals in Gravel because I have a lot of M-Stones here. I should still have 2 Thunder M's, if I recall correctly. I almost forgot to do the shop here. That's why I entered the menu to fast travel and then I went back. I kind of forgot about this. Bad habit of mine. So, money decision here that I kind of regret. It was a safety choice. You need about 38,600 to have enough money for this segment. But because I got that pup, I had some extra money. And what I decided to do is sell my Olivel to get an extra 2,000. And my money route was already secure after I sold the axe. But what that lets me do is... oh, I think I'll go for 1 Soulstone Steel here. I think that was a mistake, honestly. What that lets me do is it lets me have a guards for the first fight in Dusk Ruin. Normally you don't have enough money for guards, and there's some bad fights that would be really difficult to clear. But because I have that guards, it makes those fights much more doable. So just like an extra safety thing I decided to take because I got the pop and I can get that money threshold. Without the pop, I wouldn't have enough money even if I sold the olive. And the olive sell is just like an occasional backup if you're really short. But you should never really be short for this part anymore. So this fight right here is kind of annoying. I'm kind of hoping for lightning hits from Elemental Barrage. I got pretty unlucky. It was third try. I need 3 tries at it. I haven't boosted one. I got mid hits I think on all of them too. Kind of unfortunate. But what I realized is you only need 3 X guards on this guy, so you can boost this up in a second Elemental Barrage and be okay. You could also just teach Lightning Bolt, and if you do 2 Lightning Bolts, then that works. And in this case, it would have been faster, but I like to gamble on Elemental Barrage. Especially because you need it for the final for Harvey anyway. So might as well just... I figure might as well gamble. You can get a faster fight, and you get to skip teaching a skill. Now the downside is there is one battle in Dusk Ruin that you really want Lightning Bolt for, to clear. But it doesn't guarantee the clear anyway, so it's like, it's whatever. Yeah, I think it's a judgment call, and this is what I choose to do. So I route in some extra money just so I can guard this fight, save some time. It lets me be a little bit more lenient in my L-Stone usage. The alternate kill to this fight is you do an L-Stone and an M-Stone, where one of them has to be a weakness. Or you can break with Elemental Barrages and just do an L-Stone. Both options are fine. This is the kill I choose to do because it's faster and because I have to spare money from Dazzling Artwork. If I had enough money to guard the Gravel battle, then what I would have done is L-Stone that fight because I would have been able to skip the Crackridge money. And I would have skipped the Crackridge money. But because I needed that money at that point for Gravel, and I can't skip the Crackeridge money, that's how I kind of like take advantage of extra money. I use the guards on that fight instead of burning an Elstone. There are other Elstones you can get, so it's not a big deal if you have to burn them. Like, I skipped the Fire L in Chapter 4, there's an Ice L in this chapter. So because I have that guards money, I switched to Knight here. Because that lets me clear pretty much everything with guards. But this is one of the best battles you can get. Because you can just Elstone it. You have one extra Shadow L, essentially. Assuming you have like another Elstone that you save for Harvey. You want the Fire, Ice, or Thunder L for him, and I still have a Thunder L here. And the bad thing clear with just a Shadow L, it's really fast and very simple and convenient. I find I don't get ambushed here very often, but ambushes are definitely a risk. Also, double battle's a potential risk here, which is why I'm walking here. I lost my train of thought. But if you get ambushed, the really scary thing about it is it can kill Fronate or Casti, and you need both their lanes. So really big deal if they die. You have to rebuild this script pretty much. Also, this Revenant basically just carried the run. We surprised that Revenant, which let us insta-flee from it, and that saves a ton of time. Like, even the good battles, I would have to, like, Mercs and then break and then flee. If it's a bad battle, I could just, like, be in there for a good while, like 15-20 seconds, breaking it to escape. But that was just the fastest possible thing that could have happened. My Dust Ruin battles in this run saved the run pretty much. I got really fast Dust Ruin battles. And that lets us save a lot of time on this split right here. It will be by far the hardest split to run against if you run against these splits. But from this point on, it's more or less scripted. And there is a 1% chance that we miss a collect on Harvey. But luckily we didn't run into that. This fight's pretty cool though. Throw an Elstone here. That fills in the range and it hits a weakness. That is important because we get really unlucky with your elemental barrages. You can be one shot short. So if you get on if you don't have the elements, so you can risk a Shadow L and just hope you get at least one extra hit of elemental barrage, which is very likely. Will happen most of the time. So this is kind of cool. We use Cassie Lane here to duplicate this pawn link we stole off the merchant and pawning. And that fills Frone's VP up to 5. And then from here she just does late iron help. Really cool kill. We could have actually burned a bit more money once we picked up that 2500 chest. And use double beastlings here, but that's like a range. It's a favorable range. But it's a range. But if we don't need to use hard help for anything, we just roll vets there. It's a comfy guaranteed kill. And there we go. More or less done. We just have to scrutinize Elena and the run is over. Yeah, you can see like how much we gold this split by and how much we saved compared to PB. The split was insanely fast and more or less saved the run. Thanks for the GG, the old Zero Sig. Appreciate it. There we go. GG. It's first sub 33 for Osvald. The run is still very much beatable. I don't think this kills the category or anything. There is more time to save, especially now that you can get runs going much more often with the better Chapter 1 strats. But very good run. And I look forward to seeing where this goes in the future.